you think the Bible should be taught in schools?
Yes.
Yeah?
Most definitely. Because children have gotten away from that, because they have. And it needs to be put back in all the schools, Catholic schools and public schools.
The Good Liars are back at it again, exposing the sheer insanity of some of our fellow Americans, this time tackling the manufactured issue of God being left out of children's lives.
You want the Bible back in school. Do you think there are books that should be banned from schools?
Yeah, of course.
There is a book that has a story of two daughters getting their father drunk and having sex with them. Would you want that in a school?
No, absolutely. Yeah, of course
no.
not. Of course not.
No.
That's outrageous.
That's the devil's work. We don't want the devil's work in school.
Absolutely brilliant as always. And who could forget this gem?
I see this sign here that says God is pro-life. What does that mean?
God is pro-life?
Yeah.
That's just what it means, yes. God created life.
Didn't God kill everybody on earth except for Noah and some farm animals on an ark?
I'm sorry.
Didn't God kill everybody on earth?
While it is great to see these people short circuit when confronted with the obvious contradictions in their beliefs, it is unfortunately not changing the reality of the situation that people with the same beliefs hold positions of real political power.
When they removed prayer out of school, things changed. And when they turned our entire nation away from God, and now generations of children have been raised without saying the prayer, and a lot of them without saying the Pledge of Allegiance every single morning before they start their day of school. And that has changed our country. Fundamentally changed our country.
What it is that Satan's controlling the church. The church is not doing its job, and it's not adhering to the teachings of Christ.
I also call myself a Christian nationalist, and that's not a bad word. That's actually a good thing, right? And there's nothing wrong with leading with your faith, because we should lead with our faith. Because if we're doing that, then we're doing the right thing.
Just to be clear, Marjorie Taylor Greene and everyone else should have the freedom to practice and express their religious beliefs, but it becomes a massive issue when someone legislates on behalf of their religious beliefs, regardless of what religion it is.
So many overreaching regulations in our nation is because the church complied. The church is supposed to direct the government. The government is not supposed to direct the church. That is not how our founding fathers intended it. And I'm tired of this separation of church and state junk that's not in the Constitution. It was in a stinking letter, and it means nothing like what they say it does. The church is supposed to direct government, not the opposite way. The church is supposed to influence government. If it's up to the federal government, up to bureaucrats to define things, then we end up with terms like extremists, domestic terrorists, and they end up targeting conservatives.
To Lauren Boebert and others of her ilk, anything short of complete submission to their views is seen as discriminatory, tying in perfectly to the victimhood complex so many conservatives adopt to win favor with their voters.
A generation of children that are just being attacked by Satan and the evil left with horrific things, not only abortion, but now gender mutilation surgeries and horrible medications. Ever since God was taken, prayer was taken out of school, which is such a failure. Look at the slide in our basically the soul of America, to the point where we're soulless. We don't have a soul anymore.
Greene has ascended to committee positions on government oversight and accountability, homeland security, and even a pandemic subcommittee since first taking office in 2021.
We had 8 AR-15s in the 1960s. We didn't have those mass school shootings. Now, I know it's something that some people don't want to talk about. We actually had prayer in school during those days.
Now, House Majority Leader Steve Scalise said this about school shootings and how to stop them.
Someone asked me today in the media, they said, it's curious, people are curious, what does Mike Johnson think about any issue under the sun? I said, well, go pick up a Bible off your shelf and read it. That's my worldview. That's what I believe.
In fact, during his first speech in his new job, Johnson suggested that his election as Speaker was an act of God. Talk about a bit of a humble brag there.
I'm not trying to establish Christianity as the national religion or something. That's not what this is about at all. If you truly believe in the Bible's commands and you seek to follow those, it is impossible to be a hateful person.
New Speaker of the House Mike Johnson poses even more of a threat than Green, Boebert, and Scalise because of his appeal to the more centrist wing of the Republican Party while being all in on Trump and the broader MAGA movement.
I was telling the pastor of this great church how thankful I am that he is brave enough to bring politics in the house of God. That's what we're missing in America. People have fallen away from God.
This is what these politicians want, to control your behavior based on their personal beliefs about their specific flavor of Christianity, crafting laws that are not based in fact as a way to impose their beliefs onto the entire country.
So who do you hope is the vice president?
I personally love Kari Lake.
Now, I have to ask, Mike Pence was Donald Trump's vice president, and Donald Trump almost got him, killed. Would you be worried about Kari Lake?
Donald Trump did not.
Well, the people were chanting, hang Mike Pence.
And give me a break. Grow up.
Well, but then they actually went inside, to where he was and everything.
So what?
It's almost remarkable how open and honest they are.
Mike Pence, I hope you're going to stand up for the good of our Constitution and for the good of our country. And if you're not, I'm going to be very disappointed in you. I will tell you right now.
I'm telling you, if Pence came, we're going to drag through the streets.
Bring out Pence! Bring out Pence!
Because their fellow MAGA did chant this.
Were you worried about him during that siege? Were you worried about his safety?
No, I thought he was well protected, and I had heard that he was in good shape. Mm-hmm. No, because I had heard he was in very good shape. But no.
You heard those chants. That was terrible. I mean, it was,
he could have. Well, the people were very angry.
They were saying, "Hang Mike
Because
Pence."
it's common sense.
And the former president did not give any inclination that he disagreed. In an interview with journalist Jonathan Karl, it is outrageous stuff.
Pretty hot day today, right?
Yeah, it's hot. But
it's the all-time record for this date in Milwaukee.
is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm feeling better. I'm just here to support Trump, but
Did you catch a little bit of heat stroke earlier?
yeah, I sure did. But I'll be all right.
What do you think about global warming?
I just don't believe it. I think it's all fake.
Okay.
Wonder where he got that from.
So Obama's talking about all of this with the global warming and that. And a lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax. I mean, it's a money-making industry, okay? It's a hoax. Thank you, everybody.
It's depressing how the leader of a party cannot just secure one win for humanity because oil and gas cut his checks.
You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favored Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. When I talk about the Bible, it's very personal. So I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into.
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite.
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that
no,
you like?
I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible. The whole Bible is an incredible. I joke. Very much so. They always hold up the Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time.
And yet they praise this guy, which results in this.
You think there should be books that are banned in school?
Books like that, yes, that are teaching children wrong moral values.
What about a book that says slavery is okay?
I have never seen a book that said slavery was okay.
What about a book where somebody sells their daughter into slavery for 200 foreskins? Would that be okay?
No, nothing on. No, like I said, good moral values is what needs to be taught. It needs to be brought back in.
Like books like the Bible?
The Bible would be an awesome one.
You think the Bible should be taught in school?
I do. It's history. It should be taught as a history class because that's what it is. It is a history book.
The two things I just said were from the Bible.
Slavery? Nah, you're right.
And the selling the daughter for foreskin.
That's true. You got a point there.
Then why won't you admit fault? Why is this so incredibly difficult for them? In the wake of the incident in Butler, PA, we heard an outcry from Republican lawmakers that language being used of Donald Trump being framed as a fascist who wants total authoritarian rule, leading to a registered Republican firing the shot. It is a bad faith, preposterous argument that frankly folks like Lester Holt and other mainstream outlets have taken the bait and ran with. It's despicable. Meanwhile, MAGA has some thoughts.
Treason for what he's doing to this country. He's purposely ruining it.
You think Joe Biden should be
I think he should be for treason.
What has he done that's treasonous?
Look what he's doing to this country. He's ruining it.
What specifically?
Millions of illegal aliens in. Terrorists. How many people have been killed already by some of these illegal aliens? It's ridiculous.
You think that's treason?
It's treason. It's what he's doing to this country. Absolutely. He's letting foreign terrorists, foreign invaders enter this country. And he's welcoming them into it.
What's the shirt mean?
Oh, they suck. They're the worst. They're the problem with this country.
What can we do to bridge the divide in the country?
Bridge the divide in the country? I don't know. Close the borders. Yeah.
But the divide between Americans. What can we do to bridge the divide between Americans?
I don't know. You want to help me out here?
Probably talk to each other more. Listen to each other.
Less name calling?
Yeah, I'd say so.
And the shirt says?
Liberals suck.
You see, they say this, then do this.
Omar has a history of launching vicious anti-Semitic screeds.
The work that the Good Liars is doing is, in my opinion, vital. It's important to have a finger on the pulse with a comedic edge, as they do time and time again. Please, if you can and are willing, check out their live shows to stay up to date with their tour. Follow along for their video content on the following platforms: YouTube, their Reels on Instagram, short form stuff on TikTok, and make a donation to their Patreon. They are awesome.
We know that the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Now, I wanted to be a little bit more original than to use a phrase that you've probably heard 1,000 times. But what's a better phrase than that? We can't do better.
A shocking admission from former President Donald Trump, on the other hand.
And also, speaking of drag queens, can we stop with the grooming stuff? Can you stop talking about that? Drag queens are not at a school to groom your kids. Stop it. And even if they were, most of them kids gonna get shot at school. It ain't no problem. Don't grown pass legislation. Like they boobs gonna bother me. I'm like Mitch McConnell. I ain't got no soul.
Comedians like Roy Wood Jr. point out the hypocrisy for all of us to see.
Now, America has shown its shadow, and we are stuck with Mayorkas for 6 more weeks, thanks to the insipid idiots in Congress, in the GOP. Good luck, guys. Way to go. Way to show the American people you can accomplish something. But I hope you're happy you expelled me. Mwah. Bye.
On the topic of George Santos.
The overlooked purpose of tonight's dinner is to award scholarships to students who have shown great achievements in journalism. That's right. These brave young souls are the future of the industry, And I'd like to stop right now and congratulate tonight's top scholarship recipient, Arizona State senior George Santos. Oh yeah, George couldn't be here tonight. He's auditioning for RuPaul's Drag Race. That's my bad.
Would hilariously roast him.
We've done things like ban critical race theory in our K through 12 schools. What you do not do is you do not distort American history to try to advance your current ideological agenda.
In an instance of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis performing the epic act of the pot calling the kettle black.
If there's one person that could use a scandal, it's Ron DeSantis. That boy is just running around just passing every controversial law he can think of, thinking that's gonna activate voters. That's not how you activate voters in this country, Ron. Everybody know how you do politics. This is America. We don't pass laws. You make a promise to voters, and then you don't do it. That's what the great leaders in this room understand. You know how to make things not happen.
Wood saying this to the faces of legislators is not just ballsy, it is simultaneously undoubtedly true. Bravo.
White supremacy, that's the problem. This is a hoax.
After Tucker Carlson's ouster from Fox News.
Tonight, we are all unified under one thing, and that's scandal. Scandals have been devouring careers this year. The untouchable Tucker Carlson is out of a job. Now, okay, some people celebrate it. But to Tucker's staff, I want you to know that I know what you're feeling. I work at The Daily Show, so I too have been blindsided by the sudden departure of the host of a fake news program. Tucker got caught up like that dude from Vanderpump Rules. Tucker Carlson is the first host to get fired from Fox News for something that's only partially about how he treats women. That's progress. He shattered the ceiling.
Wood Jr. went in as well.
Lemon had been with the network for nearly 2 decades and hosted his own primetime show for 8 years. He was on the air on Monday morning before tweeting the news of his firing, saying he was blindsided.
The CNN This Morning anchor signing off his show Monday, just hours later tweeting, "I was informed this morning by my agent that I have been terminated by CNN." Adding, "I would have thought that someone in management would have had the decency to tell me directly. I am stunned." CNN then with a tweet of its own, refuting Lemon's account, calling it inaccurate, writing, "He was offered an opportunity to meet with management, but instead released a statement on Twitter."
Don Lemon would even catch a stray.
Speaking of Don Lemon is out of a job. Don Lemon, my dog Don Lemon. Don Lemon released a statement saying he got fired from CNN. Then CNN released a statement saying that they offered Don a meeting. They had to part ways because Don Lemon can't even accurately report a story about Don Lemon. I still think that Don deserved more, CNN. That ain't how you fire somebody. It's messed up. How funny is it that you work in the news, then watch on the news that you got fired from the news?
Hi, Jeffrey.
Hello, Allison.
It's been a while.
It has been a while, indeed.
As did this dude.
Don Lemon is now the most obnoxious guy in the history of CNN. That's not fair. Even Jeffrey too been looking at Don Lemon like, "Ooh, he rubbed me the wrong way." But I ultimately understand why CNN did what they did. I get it. It's about morals. There should be no place on air for someone who speaks with wild disregard that doesn't consider the blowback to their coworkers or their company. Thankfully, CNN has taken steps in the right direction. They got rid of Don Lemon, and they've now given a show to Charles Barkley. To Charles Barkley's co-host, Gayle King, we say good luck. I think it's going to be a good show. The whole show is going to be Charles Barkley saying something crazy, then Gayle King looking into the camera, Charles. Charles.
He also predicted this to a T.
First of all, I'm just going to say this.
If I see a black person walking around with Trump mugshot, I'm gonna punch him in the face.
Charles.
No, Gail.
Charles.
Gail.
You really can't say that because you don't mean that.
I mean that sincerely. I'm gonna just tell you something.
And then you will be arrested for assault. And then what?
I'm gonna bail myself out and go celebrate.
Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him.
We have breaking news. Former President Trump will stand trial in the hush money case against him starting April 15th. Trump's team had tried to further delay that trial, arguing they needed more time to review newly released evidence, but the judge rejected that argument. Meanwhile, an appeals court has ruled that former President Trump can post a smaller bond than the $464 million originally imposed in his New York civil fraud trial.
Back on this guy.
Can't follow Trump scandals. There's too many Trump scandals to keep up with. Keeping up with Trump scandals is like watching Star Wars movies. You got to watch the third one to understand the first one. Then you can't miss the second one because it's got Easter eggs for the fifth one. Donald Trump is the only politician whose scandals got spinoffs on Disney Plus. But the Trump arrest, it made everybody question what they believe. You thought you leaned one way politically, then Trump got locked up. Everybody started waffling. Put Republicans between a rock and a hard place. Donald Trump got locked up, and for years, all y'all been saying for years, we gotta get tough on crime. Trump got arrested. We meant black crime.
Wood Jr. exposes the hypocrisy amongst many in D.C.
Well, we've got another eyebrow-raising revelation tonight about Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas and his financial dealings with a billionaire buddy. Last week, ProPublica revealed that virtually every year for decades, Thomas has been treated to luxury vacations by billionaire conservative donor Harlan Crow, including trips on his private jet and super yacht worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, which, crucially, Thomas never disclosed in his financial disclosures. Now we've learned there are other financial dealings between the two men that Thomas also didn't disclose. In 2014, Crow bought several properties in this quiet residential neighborhood in Savannah, Georgia, that had belonged to Clarence Thomas and his relatives, including a house where Thomas's mother was still living and 2 vacant house lots.
You thought Roy Wood Jr. wouldn't address this dude either? Get real.
Harlan Crow is flying Clarence Thomas all over the world on unreported trips like an Instagram model, taking Clarence to the Maldives and the beaches and all. Paid for his mama's house, this billionaire. Paid for Clarence Thomas' mama's house. I gotta give it up to billionaires. Billionaires, boy, y'all are relentless. Y'all always come up with something new to buy. Like, just when you think of everything you could buy on Earth, a billionaire will come up with a new thing. Y'all buy space rockets, you bought Twitter. This man bought a Supreme Court justice. Do you understand how rich you have to be to buy a black one on top of that? There's only 2 in stock. And Harlan Crow owns half the inventory. We can all see Clarence Thomas, but he belongs to billionaire Harlan Crow. And that's what an NFT is.
All right, y'all, before we get into it, if there are any stories we missed, if there are any that you would like to submit, get at me and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. DMs are open, and please, if you can, become a channel member to help sustain us, and or go to tyt.com/join. This is something that I wanted to revisit because even though it's 10 months old at this point, all of this is still happening. Whether it is the Trump scandals, Tucker Carlson launching his show on X, Don Lemon having the interview with Elon Musk and then getting his contract canceled by Twitter. No one calls it X. By Twitter, because it was all stemming from the fallout with CNN, the pleas that the Biden administration is making while France is protesting the retirement age and that hypocrisy in and of itself. Jeffrey Toobin still being welcomed with open arms, and Ron DeSantis, who is now no longer a presidential candidate, but rather continuing to make those in his state suffer. All of this sadly remains prevalent. It shouldn't be, but as Tupac says, that's the way it is.